Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My friend gave me this mini scale that he said is problematic. He didn't know he couldn't tell me exactly what's wrong with it. So we're going to test it and see whether it's something we can fix. It weighs up to 200 grams supposedly, with I think that's probably a precision of 0.01 gram. And as is obvious here, it works on batteries. Let's see. Okay, so it's two AAA batteries. I just noticed. Let me see if I can show it. See, yeah, see how that one spring is corroded here. So I don't know if it's as simply as that, or as simple as that, or there's something more to it. Anyway, we're going to put some batteries next and test it out, and we'll see if we can do anything about fixing this. Oh, it came on. Let me try and press some buttons here. Nothing. Nothing. On off button. Let's see if that does anything. No. No. So none of the buttons do anything. Alright, I removed the batteries and I see two screws here. So that's a good start. I see signs of two more screws, but they weren't holding on to anything. Supposedly under this here. And I noticed this plate here is loose. This is what's this? It has like I think what is the double-sided tape, but it's completely loose. So maybe if I can get it working, we'll put a couple of double-sided tape here to stick it back on. See, there are two screws here, but I don't know if we're supposed to. Yeah, let me remove them just in case. Oh, this just removes this plate here. Okay, so now this is completely off. This is what we have. There's like this bar here where you put the weight on, and it has a whole bunch of wires coming into the motherboard on this side. Alright, I see two screws there. Let's remove them and see where that takes us. Right. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so there's nothing on the back. Absolutely no components, nothing. So here we go. I've set my power supply to 3 volts and I think 300 milliamps. That's the negative lead, and now I'm going to put the positive lead here. Okay, it came on as before. Let's see if any button. Power off. No. So same behavior as before. If I put some strain on this. Okay, so the weighing part actually works, as you can see, or maybe you can't. I'm going to put some weight. There you go, it goes up. Remove my finger, it goes down. Let's take a look at the motherboard under the microscope, see if we find anything. Alright, here we go. So that's the light button, air button. I'll check all the buttons for continuity after, but let me just take a look. Oh my, what do we have there? All these 3 pins are connected together. Actually the 4 pins based on what I see on the board. Let me put it at an angle to see. I think that's just burnt flux, nothing serious. Here we have the on-off button. Mode and pieces, I guess, PCS. And here we have just the wires coming from the weight. I think it's called the load cell or something like that. That's the part that does the weighing. Yellow is quite close to the black here. I don't know if there's any, if it's contacting. We'll check that also. That's the plus and the minus coming from the battery. Anyway, let's proceed with checking the continuity on the buttons. You'll hear the tone if we have continuity. I can put up the, yeah. I bumped. Okay, there we go. So let's do the buttons. No continuity now. I press it. No continuity. Okay. Try again. This button is not giving continuity unless I'm doing it wrong. Next button. No continuity. Am I doing this wrong? That's very strange. This button. Again, no continuity. No continuity. No continuity. How is it possible that 5 buttons are all bad? Or something is not right somewhere. I don't understand how 5 buttons can all go wrong. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of the buttons. Let me remove, let's say, the light button, and I want to test it outside of the circuit. Here, press the button now. No, nothing. Nothing. So I've opened that button up. I'm curious to know why it failed, and I managed to nick my finger in the process, but it's for a good cause. Let's go under the microscope. So that's the button, and that disc you see inside, that's the tricky part. Let me get something. There we go. So I think you can hopefully hear it clicking. Maybe not, but I can hear it clicking. Here, let's see if we can do it with 2 crocodile clips. So there's continuity between that pin and this pin. Okay, and it should be with also be with this pin when you click it. So let me click this. Nothing. So the answer is no. The cleaning did not really get the button to work. Anyway, regardless of that, obviously the buttons don't work. I'm going to proceed to remove the other 4 buttons here, and then I think we'll do just a manual test. Alright, so I removed the 4 remaining buttons, and I tested a couple just randomly, and yeah, they don't work. So let's do what I said we should do. I'm going to put power back into this, and we're going to simulate the button presses by using, I'm going to just use the tweezer. Where did I, there it is. We're going to use a tweezer to simulate button presses. So this thing is on, as you can see, and I'm going to simulate the light. I'm going to touch the light to turn it off. Let's see. There we go. Light is off. Turn it back on. There we go. Let me move it up so you can see better. I'm going to power it off. Should be these two. And the thing is off. Turn it back on. There we go. And it's back on. When I was going through my box of scrap boards, and I came across these two identical boards, and I guess these are for some sort of TV, or because I see channel plus, minus, and then standby. Anyway, I measured the size of the buttons for the scale, and they are pretty much the same like these 6. So I'm going to use a bit of hot air and remove 5 of them. Alright, that was easy using hot air, and here we are, we have the 5 of them. Let me turn on the multimeter. Again, I'm going to use the crocodile clip. You can hear the tone if there is continuity. Let's try the first one. We should hear a beat now, but not here. Okay, I'm going to press the button. Yep, this one is working. This one. Nope. Alright, all 5 are good. Let's install them on the board. Alright, so I've put all 5 buttons in and made sure they are as flush as possible. And now I'm going to solder the 2 corners that were originally soldered. Alright, we're back, and this is mostly back together. I took care of the corrosion on the battery terminal. I used some vinegar and then followed by some IPA to clean that up. And I put some strips of, I think these are double-sided tape that typically used for screens, like when you're installing screens on phones or something like that. Anyway, I just need to peel off the this side, and then we'll put the plate, we'll glue the tape back on. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna put the lid back in, reattach it. There we go. These are the four of the 5 damaged buttons. The 5th one, well, was sacrificed in the name of science. I wanted to see what was wrong with it. This one has glued very nicely. It's not going to fall out anytime soon. So let's put batteries in and let's do a final test. On. Let's It doesn't stick to 0 all the time, it's a bit jittery. But let's weigh this bottle here. And it says 40, about 50. It's around 50 grams. Let's weigh these tweezers. 17.38 grams. Light off. Lights on. And turn off. Alright. So we're going to call this a win. Basically, it needed just 5 new buttons, and now it's working very well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.